Clay from Brooklyn, Football with the Fellas. It's all about Big Blue. Here to take another look at our roster. As you know, I do this like all year long. I'm kind of obsessed. Uh, and I'm just going to share some thoughts that I've had recently. I know the draft is over and, we've signed a lot of undrafted free agents and, we're inviting people into camp already. Camp has already started. And so you might think, well, they're not going to make a whole lot of changes to the roster. Well, I'm hoping that they do. And so there's a few places I'd like to see us kind of make some moves. You've probably heard me say this before, but the one thing I think we strongly need to improve upon is our run defense. We lack an identity. We lack that one area where we can really dominate and dictate terms of the game and say, we're better at this than you are. And, this is how we're going to beat you. So I think our defense is starting to take shape. I think that we, at least from our starters, are a top 10 defense already, maybe even better than that. We don't have much depth, so we can't really withstand too many injuries. But our starters look really good in a lot of places. But I think we could really improve with one more very good run-stuffing interior defensive lineman. I know we added Jeremiah Ledbetter, who is a solid interior defensive lineman in free agency. And I know we drafted Darius Alexander, who looks like he's going to be a solid interior defensive lineman. And I love those two moves. I'm not sure either of them is going to be great, at least not right away for Darius Alexander. I think we need someone really good, maybe not great, but really good to line up next to Dexter. And I think Shane Bowen's got to change his philosophy a little bit. You've heard me say many times that one of the things I don't like about Shane Bowen is that he seems to be in love with two interior defensive linemen, sometimes only one, but two interior defensive linemen as his like mainstay. He likes to, get home with four, right? Rush four and hopefully drop seven into coverage and or into stopping the run. But I think that we really have a much better suited roster to having three interior defensive linemen, what they call a tight front, right? So if we had like Dexter at the nose and then 2-3 techs, like just outside the guard shoulder, I think that would really make it really hard to run against us. That would make a big difference in how well we stop the run, which we did not do very well at all last year. So I'm looking for one more big interior defensive lineman that can not only help shut down the run, but can also give Dexter a few more plays off. Again, Dexter's 340 odd pounds and entering his 7th season in the league. The man can't play 50 snaps a game. At least he shouldn't have to, especially during bad seasons. If we were making a deep playoff run, that's one thing, but to waste Dexter's prime and to burn him out with 50, 55 snaps a game sometimes in seasons where we're winning 3 games makes no sense. And he's getting double teamed and triple teamed every play because we only have 2 interior defensive linemen. So he obviously warrants that. He's that good a player, but why not give him more help so he doesn't get double and triple teamed? There were a few plays you've seen me use some footage to analyze how he does sometimes when he's one-on-one, and he is a beast. He's a monster. There's very few, especially now that Zach Martin has retired and Jason Kelce has retired, there's very few offensive linemen that can handle Dexter one-on-one. So if we can use 3 interior defensive linemen, we give him the opportunity to face single blocking much more often. So that's what I'm really hoping we can do, is find a way to get him some more snaps off, some rest, and then give him some more help when he's on the field. So there's a player I have in mind. A young player, he just finished his rookie year last year, T'Vondre Sweat from the Tennessee Titans. You may have heard me mention him before, somebody I have my eye on, and I'm going to just talk a little bit about him. First and foremost, let me show you, and shout out to PFF for having this tool, what PFF at least lists as their starting lineup. So you see they already have Jeffrey Simmons, who is a beast, right? He's not as good as Dexter, but he's not much below Dexter. He's a beast. And they have Sebastian Joseph Day, who, when there's a beast on the interior defensive line, throughout his career, he's been the very good second or third best interior defensive lineman. Like, he's not going to be your Batman, but he's a solid Robin, if that makes sense. And there's T'Vondre Sweat, sitting there right there in the middle, who is an extremely big man, a 360-pound man. He's bigger than Dexter, and just dominating the A-gaps. Like, that's something that you just take off the playbook when you line up against T'Vondre Sweat. I guess we're not running up the middle. So if we had him and could put Dexter at three tech, oh my God. Or, occasionally switch them and put Tavondre at three tech, or maybe have both of them at, 2I, however you want to use them. If you could put both of them on the field 15 or 20 plays a game, that's 15 or 20 plays where they are not running the ball successfully against us, especially if there's a third interior defensive lineman. So that's the person that I'm looking at. I'm looking back behind him and I'm seeing, okay, Cody Barton is a okay inside linebacker, but the rest of let me show you what their roster looks like. The rest of their interior linebackers do not look very good at all. This is not a strength of their team. So as we look at the linebackers, Otis Reese the fourth is listed as a starter here at PFF. I'm not sure he's going to start. He didn't play very many snaps. He only played 88 snaps last year, but that's who's listed as the other starter. But look at these guys. None of these guys, Curtis Jacobs, James Williams, Cedric Gray, none of those guys look like someone, look at these grades, that they can hang their hat on and say, here's the inside linebacker that's going to, make the tackles, who's going to clean up behind that really good defensive front we have. So, yeah, their defensive line looks really good, but the linebackers don't look very good at all. The other place that they don't look very strong is at running back. Tony Pollard is a, solid running back. But behind Tony Pollard, they also don't look very good. Going back to that roster, if you look at their running backs, Tyjae Spears doesn't get in the field very often. And he's the second best running back they have. They just drafted Khalil Mullings out of Michigan in the 6th round. There's probably a reason he lasted till the 6th round. They just don't have a lot of depth at running back. So I'm just going to say that the places that I think they could use a lot of help are inside linebacker and running back. Now, Jarius Sneed also had a really down year for them. They just signed him in free agency last year at cornerback. He had a pretty bad year, but I'm guessing that they're not ready to give up on him yet. They've invested enough in him where they're going to, give him a shot to kind of redeem himself this year. But that position wasn't very strong either. But I do think that they must know that inside linebacker and running back need some help. So what do I want to offer them? I would love to offer them Micah McFadden, Devin Singletary, and maybe a mid-round draft pick for T'Vondre Sweat. Maybe a 4th or a 5th round draft pick next year. We already gave away our 3rd round draft pick next year, so maybe not the 4th, but the 5th round draft pick. And Micah McFadden and Devin Singletary might be enough to pique their interest. First, let me start by saying they have plenty of cap space. As I look at the rankings of teams by cap space, you may have heard me say the other day that we are dead last. We're 32nd in the league in cap space. We have just over $1 million left in cap space. But Tennessee is 4th in the league. They've got $38 million in cap space. So they can certainly afford Devin Singletary and Micah McFadden. So as far as money, it would be no problem for them to take them on. It would be helpful for us, actually, to get rid of those salaries. T'Vondre Sweat makes less money than the two of them. So we would actually be improving our cap space if this trade were to go through. So again, why would Tennessee do this? Well, Tennessee obviously just drafted, Cam Ward, 1st overall pick. It would be nice if they had a stronger running game to help him out. Young rookie quarterback's best friend is always a great running game, right? So I think Devin Singletary is significantly better than the rest of their running backs, other than Tony Pollard. And again, Tony Pollard is not going to the Hall of Fame or the Pro Bowl. So I think the two of them would be a nice, combination. You don't necessarily want to overuse either one of them. Neither of them is really a bell cow, but I think the two of them together gives you a decent backfield. Devin Singletary is also a very good pass blocking running back, as Tony Pollard has been at times. He didn't have such a great year last year in pass blocking, but prior to that, he's been a very solid pass blocking running back. So the two of them can both be 3-down backs for you. And like I said, Micah McFadden, I think, would step in right away and start as the second inside linebacker. So I think that makes their team a little bit better in those two positions. And I think they have enough depth. Like I said, they've got Jeffrey Simmons, they got Sebastian Joseph Day. I think they have enough depth at the interior defensive line position so that they don't necessarily suffer greatly from losing T'Vondre Sweat. I mean, anybody who loses T'Vondre Sweat is worse than they had been before, don't get me wrong. But they do have Keandre Coburn is another interior defensive lineman that they have. Huge man. He's about the same size as no, well, he's not quite as big, but he's about the same size as Dexter, about 335. Not as good as either of them, but a solid big body who, if you put him again next to Jeffrey Simmons and Sebastian Joseph Day, he's going to face a lot of one-on-ones, and he should be able to do well with that. So I just think that that's something that we should at least think about. I think that we would do well to move on from Micah McFadden and let Bobby Okereke be the main inside linebacker in a 3-3-1. You've heard me say that many times. I don't think we need two interior defensive linemen. I'm sorry, inside linebackers. I think we need three interior defensive linemen. And having two edge rushers, outside linebackers, plus Bobby is great. So a 3-3-5 is what I'm hoping we go to. I don't know if Shane Bowen is listening, but if he is, I think that we are well suited for that, even if it's without this trade, even if it's Jeremiah Ledbetter and Darius Alexander on either side of Dexter Lawrence. I think that's what we need to do. And I think T'Vondre Sweat would add to that rotation significantly and really make a big difference. So that's what I think. I'd love to hear what you think. As always, please, take a minute, grab that like and subscribe button. Please drop a comment. Please share this with your friends. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I'm Clay from Brooklyn. Football with the Fellas. It's all about Big Blue. That's what I think. And I'm out.
Big shout out to El Marquis Productions, the talent behind the music and production here at Football with the Fellas. It's all about Big Blue. Their beats bring energy and excitement to every episode. El Marquis' skills in mixing, mastering, and creating top quality sound make the podcast come alive each week. For your own projects, check out elmarquisproductions.com and take your sound to the next level.